first thing we're going to do is start with cleansing the skin. So just using a little bit of micellar water on a cotton pad and just making sure that we're cleansing the skin. I've already sanitized my hands. So cleansing the skin, make sure you go over the eyes, underneath the eyes. Her is typically quite dry, but today she's feeling quite good, so there doesn't seem to be any flakiness there, so I don't need to do any exfoliating. What I'm going to do is really hydrate her skin because we're going to make her skin look really glowy with this look. So the product I'm going to use for her moisturizer is the Embryolisse Late Creme Concentrate. Just rub it in, really warm it up in my hands and really massage it into her skin. Now I'm just going to go in with a little bit of the MAC Fast Eye Response Cream. This is amazing underneath makeup. So just about a pea size, rice size amount, rub it in between the fingers and just apply it underneath the eye. Because Annabelle is on the drier side, we've got to make sure that we're using a lot of hydration in her skin. So the primers that we want to use, we want to make sure are quite hydrating. So the primer I'm going to use for her initially is the Too Faced Hangover Primer. So it's actually made with coconut water, which is very, very hydrating, as well as probiotics for the skin, which is a new trend in skincare. So we're just going to massage that into the face. And by massaging it in, all the blood is coming to the surface to give that really natural radiant look already. I find a lot of people forget to hydrate their lips. So what I like to do is go in with this lip mask. I'll just get Annabelle to pop that on for me. I know she doesn't have any, if she did have very, very dry lips with a lot of dead skin, we'd do a lip scrub, but they're looking pretty good at the moment. So I get you to pop that onto your lips for me. So now that we've got the Hangover Primer on, we're actually going to put on the Becca Skin Perfecting Shimmering. So what I'm going to actually do is to create that glow, I'm going to create it underneath the foundation. I'm going to apply it to the top parts of the face. Just turn away from me. A little bit down the nose, through the T-section. So this is going to give that glow from within look, but it's also quite hydrating to the skin as well. You can already see that glow coming through on the skin. So now I'm going to actually go in and do the skin first. So what I've got on my little palette here is I've actually got MAC's Face and Body, and I've actually got the Kevyn Aucoin Etherealist Foundation. I'm actually going to mix these a little bit. Because while I love the MAC Face and Body, I just want it to have a bit more coverage. So I like going from the center out. So I'm just using my flat brush to just get it onto the skin. I'm not using it to blend it into the skin because I've got a brand new little product that I want to show you guys. So this is one of the black sponges out of the Foreplay from Dirty 30s. These are fantastic. These are the softest sponges you'll ever use. So I like to go in and just push it into the skin, especially if I've got someone who's got a dry skin. Pushing it into the skin, if there is any sort of dryness, it's not going to lift it up onto the skin. And how do these feel on the face, Annabelle?
They're really soft.
So soft, aren't they? So I always use mine damp. That way it's not going to soak up any of the product. So I'm just going to do these in small layers, but already you can see that's looking like skin. So I love the flat edge on this because you can really sort of get into the face and push it in, but then the small edge, you can get into those smaller areas as well. So really pushing that into the skin, just bouncing it, and it's so soft, it doesn't hurt. But these are the best sponges. When doing the foundation, I actually never come up to anywhere near the eyes. The main reason being is I'm going to leave that for concealer. Put too much product around the eyes, that's when you're going to get that creasing. So I'll probably show you that on someone else shortly, but don't forget the neck as well. Just going to change it to get a little bit further in here. I'm pretty much going to leave the foundation here for now and the base, and I'm actually going to go back in and do the eyes. The main reason being I just want this foundation to settle, and that way if there's any fallout when we do the actual look itself, it's a lot easier to clean up. But this way she's not feeling so naked and barefaced. So what we're going to do is now start with the eyebrows, so we can get them into place to frame the eye. So what we're going to use on the eyebrows first, almost like a primer, is actually the new Mecca Max Brow Guru Super Soap. So I'm just going to spray a little bit of Fix Plus into here. Just going to bend my spoolie and just really rub it in. Get quite a bit of product on there. And we're just going to push them up. Then I'm just going to shape them to where I want them to be. Quite fine brows. We're now just going to go in with a little bit of eyebrow powder and shape the eye. So I'm actually now just going to go in and actually define Annabelle's eyebrows a little bit more. And I'm actually going to use the Zoeva Brow Spectrum. And I'm actually going to use one of the lighter colours, just on an angled brush. I'm just going to go in and just fill in the brow a little bit. Just using like little strokes. I'm not going to go too far into the inner part of the brow because that naturally has the least amount of hair. So just having that little bit of brow soap has actually just helped the powder just hang on to the skin a little bit better. And there we go. We've got pretty much where I want the brows to be. So it's just giving them a bit more definition and a bit more fullness, but still looking very, very natural and brushed up. Now we're going to get into the actual eye look itself. So the first thing I want to do is, if Annabelle closes her eyes, you can see that she's got a little bit of redness, and you can see some of the veins coming through. That's completely natural. But what I want to do is I actually want to take that colour out so that when we put the eyeshadow on, it comes through a lot clearer. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm actually going to use the P. Louise base in number 2, Rumour. So I'm going to apply that with a flat brush. So I'll show you that. I'm going to use a flat P. Louise brush. And I've got about a pea-sized amount, so I'm just going to get that onto the brush. And I'm actually going to start on the outer part of the eye. I'm actually going to pat it in. So just in small patting strokes. Right into that brow. So a little bit into that nose area and down into the lash line. But just using like really soft patting motions. Should still be looking bright but not patchy. So you can always turn and just use the flat end of the brush to carve into the eyebrow. But we can always come back and fix anything. So if you look at the 2 different eyes, you can see the difference already. So now that we've actually got that product onto the eye, I like to get a small buffing brush, and I just like to just buff in the edges so that it's nice and smooth and it fits into the foundation perfectly. And also by using that patting motion, it actually gets the air, it pushes the air in the product, so it makes it actually quite tacky, which makes it much easier to apply the eyeshadows to. And it doesn't feel heavy on the eye. So unlike a concealer, it doesn't feel like you're adding too much product to the eye itself. Right, I'm just going to go ahead and do the other eye. Right, so now what we're going to do is we're actually going to go in. This is just the Mecca Max pen IMAX eyeliner in brown. I think it's just called brown. It's not cool. It's not warm. It's just kind of a neutral brown, which is absolutely great for what we want to do. So what we're going to use this for is actually shaping Annabelle's eye. So she's got quite an almond eye. We've got a lot of surface there we can use. So just get her to close. And what I'm going to do is just smudge it along here, along the lash line as well. I'm keeping the concentration there. The great thing about using like an ordinary eyeliner is you actually have a lot of working time to play. And then what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to pulling in towards the nose. I'm just going to blend this out. Blend it just to about the crease area. Open for me. So you can start to see that taking shape. So I'm always blending it in towards the nose. And open for me. Yep, so now you can actually start seeing her eye taking shape. I'm just going to blend this one. So when you get more closer to the inner sort of part of the eye, blend towards the ear. But this is going to give us the shape that we're looking for. And open for me, Annabelle. Perfect. So now we're going to go underneath the eye, just a slight amount. Just look up for me, just on this part here. Just with the same sort of bullet brush. This is just the round crease brush from Crown Brushes. Just blink for me anytime you need to. I'm just going to contour that eye just slightly. Right, I just want a little bit more colour and definition just on the outer edge. I'm just going to use that pencil again, placing that colour. Yeah, close. So I'm just going to blend it up and out to get that shape. And open. Perfect. So that gives us our first start of definition to the eye. Both eyes done. I always suggest sort of like stepping back a little bit, having a look straight on so you can see both eyes and see if one's more blended than the other. And just making sure that they're balanced and they're the same shape. So this one just a little bit more. All right, so that is looking pretty even to me. So now we're going to go in with the eyeshadow. The palette I've actually chose to go in with today is Urban Decay's Naked Heat, because it's got several different colours in it. So you've got sort of more your flesh-based colours, you've got your lighter colours and your darker colours. So the first one I'm actually going to go in with is actually the lighter colour in, I think I'm going to go with Sourced. I'm just going to get it on, this is a Morphe 433, and I'm just going to come through and just pop it through that outer part of the eye. So at this stage we're just really shaping the eye. So I'm going to get Annabelle to keep looking down. I'm going to go and get Sourced, more Sourced. I'm just going to start pulling that through. And open for me. Beautiful. And then I'm just going to get a fluffy brush and just really sort of blend that out a little bit. So I'm not too concerned that I've got a little bit on the center of the lid there. That doesn't worry me too much. Beautiful. So we're getting that real definition in the eye now. So this is just a clean brush, there's nothing on this brush. And I just use that to blend out the edges. Perfect. And I'm just going to go and do the same on the other side. Right, with that same brush, I'm now going to go in with Cayenne. So just getting a little bit just on the tip of my brush really. And just close for me, Annabelle. I'm just going to work in this outer third. So I'm really just placing it, just in really small motions. Just making sure I dip in, get more product. And I'm always pulling it in towards the nose. Just making sure we place and then blend. Place and then blend. And then always get, I really want this to sort of diffuse up and flick out a little bit. So just open, Annabelle, and just checking the placement, making sure that you can see it and it's exactly where you want it to be. So I just want to deepen that a little bit more. And also by using the same brush, you're reducing the amount of brushes that you have to clean. But I also find it also helps with blending the colors together. So then just going over with my clean brush again. Do on one eye, come over and do straight away on the other eye. Just want it a little bit more. Just through here. So also like watching the angle of your brush. So because I'm working in the crease, I'm just holding it at about 45 degrees. So still nothing on this brush. Just tickling it. And open for me. Yep, so we're starting to see that definition in the eye now. So whatever I've done on this side, I'm now going to go and do on the other eye. So we've pretty much gone in and just done the same on both eyes. So you can see we've still got a little bit of colour through here. Easy fix. So going back with our P. Louise base, whatever we had left over, just hang on to that. What we're going to do is we're just going to get a little bit onto our brush. I'm just going to close and we're just going to clean up that area after that. So then I just go through and I just blend it in. So what I'm going to do now is we're going to go in with our pigment and we're going to place that onto the eye. So what we want to do is I'm going to go with lumber. Which is a really nice warm and that's going to give me the base of what I want, and then I'm just going to make sure that that's blended through. And that there's no harsh edges. And open for me. And that gives us a really, you see her eyes are going really, really blue with that pigment. Beautiful. So now I'm going to go and do the other. Decided I'm going to go and put another pigment over the top. So I've got a little bit of glitter glue, but I'm just literally going to pat onto the eye. So the one I'm using is the Too Faced one. Just over the eye. And then the pigment I'm going to use is the Peaches and Cream pigment in Dynamite. I'm just going to get that on a flat brush, tap off any excess. And then I'm actually going to use a patting motion to place it onto the skin and onto the eye. Okay. Real close. So there is pretty much our eye look for the top of the lid, almost done. Before we do anything else, we're actually going to go in with my favorite black eyeliner for the waterline and for the tight line is by Miss Cosmetics, and it's called Black Caviar. So I'm just going to get Annabelle to look down for me. So I'm going to place my thumb just in here, and I'm just going to wiggle, release, wiggle, release, wiggle, release. Look down there for me. Wiggle, release. Keep looking down. Wiggle, release. Cut for me. Okay, get the blinks out. Just for me, Annabelle, and look up and up that way out to the corner. Beautiful. The general rule, whatever goes up must come down. So what we want to use is, I'm actually going to use a little bit of Sourced and Cayenne together, just on a small fluffy brush. Look up. I'm actually just going to run that through, rocking it, just making sure we definitely get it on the outer corners so it connects, and rocking it underneath. So the general rule is you can take the lower colour all the way down to where the lower lash line ends. So with Annabelle, just looking straight, it ends about here. Look up for me. So just get them to look up. They can blink away, because the last thing you want to do is get them to try not to blink, because if that happens, that's when you get a lot of watering. So now what I want to do is I actually want to take my bullet brush from before. I'm actually going to take the colour chaser, which is like a flesh colour, and look up for me, and I'm actually just going to blend these edges out using that. Alright. So Annabelle's actually got quite long lashes naturally, so we're not going to apply a strip lash. All we're going to do is mascara on her lashes. I'm going to use a little bit of mascara, so I'm going to use the MAC 3D. I'm just going to use it on a disposable wand. Alright, just look up for me. So I like to put a tissue underneath, hold and close for me. Close your eyes normally. And then I can get right in to the lash. So their eyes are closed, can't see it coming. It's less intimidating, but it means I can get right into the root of that lash and wiggle and pull it up. A trick if you're doing this, I like to give it a good coat and open for me. So you can see that they've done a bit of the lower lash line. So you can start seeing just how long her lower lashes are, which means we could probably go back and do a bit more of that colour through the bottom. Down there for me. I'm just making sure I really get into those lashes. And open. So I can see on this side Annabelle's watered a little bit in her waterline, so I need to go back and put a bit more of that black in. But what I'm also going to do is put maybe a bit of brown eyeliner just over the top to intensify that lash line as well. So all I did is I've just gone back underneath and put a bit more of that Black Caviar into the waterline. But now what we're going to do is just put that first brown pencil we had, we're just going to basically run it through the top of the lashes. So just close for me, Annabelle. So again, my finger is just like gently lifting up the lid. I'm angling the pencil down so that it gets right in between those lashes as well. So it's just going to give a bit more definition of the lash line. And then I like using a smaller, firmer brush, pencil brush, just to basically blend that out. And open for me. So that just makes a world of difference. And that's pretty much the eyes done. We'll actually put like a light color through this center when we actually do the highlighter and when we're finishing the skin. So now we're just going to go back and perfect the skin, and then we're done. So we're just going through and just going over the foundation with a little bit more to give a little bit more coverage. Annabelle's just been misbehaving, so we're just beating her face a little bit harder than we normally would to bring her into submission. All right, now I'm going to switch over to the micro mini ones, which are also in the 4-play pack. You get 2 of them. They are amazing. They're great to have in your handbag as well for touch-ups during the day, especially in the hot weather that we're having. So we're going to be switching over to the baby one. So now what we're going to do is we're actually going to use a bit of concealer underneath the eyes and do a little bit of colour correcting because she's got a few dark circles under her eyes from too many late nights. Right, so we've got here the Bright Forecast from MAC, just to go underneath the eye. So I'm really just placing it wherever there's a little bit of darkness, just to brighten up the eye. Then I come through with the Beauty Blender, and I like to use the pointed side so I can get really close, and then I can smooth it out with the flatter side. So you can already see the difference that's made to the skin. So because Annabelle's got a dry skin, we're not actually going to bake or do anything like that. We're actually going to keep the skin relatively free of powder, except maybe a little bit just where she gets a tiny bit of shine, which is like through the nose. But we'll see how she goes. Then I'm just using a little bit of the light concealer from Bare Minerals. So this is the serum based one. It's really, really light. So again, similar. But this way I can actually just clean up that eye makeup as well. We are going to just like take a little bit more down for a little bit more coverage. Just down around the nose, the top of the nose here for Annabelle. So for those of you that have problems with sometimes, like if you've gone out into the sun, got a bit of a burnt nose, and it's just not sticking, put the concealer on and just leave it. Don't touch it, just let it sort of sit there for a couple of seconds. And then just blend it out gently. So I'm pretty happy now. So now we're going to do a little bit of contouring and blush and highlighting, so the fun parts. So to contour, we're going to use a cream contour. So this is the Mecca Max Off Duty Stick in the color medium. And I'm actually going to use it on this sort of angled brush. So I'm really going to work that product into the brush. Then I'm going to get Annabelle to turn. And then I'm actually just going to drag. And then I'm just going to blend it up. Don't worry about it if it's not too precise. Then we get our beautiful Beauty Blender. And do the perfect little blend into the cheek. Amazing. And then because Annabelle's got what we call like a heart-shaped face, what we want to do is we're just going to put a little bit of that contour through here. So what contour is really doing is creating shadows. So wherever we put a darker contour, we're pushing that back, but wherever we put highlighter, we are actually pulling that part of the face forward. So just going through, having a look. So she's got the perfect little nose, so we don't need to contour the nose. And we don't need to do anything around the jawbone. Just got a little bit of excess on the brush, so just defining that jawline just a little bit more. So you can already see with that cream contour, it's quite subtle. It's not a hard line, but it's creating that shadow on her face. So cream products are amazing for those people that have really dry skin. So the blush we're going to use today is the Dewy Blush by Ciate. So it's actually like a cheek tint. So I'm just going to put a little bit on the back of my hand. And then I'm just going to use my fingers. So just get a fair amount on my ring finger. I'm just like really pushing it into her skin. So this is the color Papaya. So you can see by using cream products, it's not as scary as people think. It's actually, they're very, very forgiving. So you can see she's all glowy. And I'm really happy with that. So I'm actually going to show you how you can use a little sponge just to go underneath the eye. Well, this is a little bit of the Laura Mercier, just translucent, just to sort of just set that area a little bit around the nose, because we all get a little bit of oil around the nose. So this is what I love this little sponge for. So especially like when I'm out and about and I'm out all day, I need to touch up my makeup. I really like using this little sponge to do it, because it's really easy to have in my bag. And looking in. So far we are almost done. We've just got a little bit of highlighter to do, which I'm going to show you a cream highlighter, and I'm going to show you the lips. Just decided we're going to put a little bit of bronzer through. So I'm using the Hourglass Luminous Bronze Light, and I'm just using it on a really big fluffy brush. The hairline, a little bit down through onto the jaw and onto the neck as well, just so everything is well tied in. And then what I also like to do is on that blending brush that we had, just grab a little bit of the bronzer, just close for me, and just use that, and look up for me, to basically blend everything together through the eye into the face. Just close for me. And look up. It just really finishes off that eye so that it blends in with the rest of the makeup look. So what I am going to do is I am going to use a little bit of California by Benefit. Again, I'm just going to do it on a big brush. I'm just going to dust it over the cheeks because I just really want it to warm up those cheeks. All right, so it's highlighter time. Everyone's favorite. I'm actually going to use a cream highlighter, and I'm actually going to use the Mecca Cosmetica From Within. Just going to take a little bit out with my spatula. And again, taking my finger and just really pushing it into those high points again. So where we basically put the Becca at the beginning of the makeup. A little bit on the nose, but remember, if there's any texture on the nose, be very, very careful, because if anything, if you're using a highlighter, it's going to bring like those things forward. Onto the nose. But I really do like this one. You can use the Dirty 30s, like get a little bit on the edge and push it through. For me. And then just blend it through. So that's pretty much the skin and the face done. I love these little tiny cotton buds that you can get from, I think I got this from Daiso, I think is how you pronounce it. They're amazing You can just get into these little areas, so it's just a little bit, just cleaning up around the tear duct area where there's been a little bit of, and I'm just going in with a small brush, my Ofra Glow Up palette. I'm just going to grab the colour Star Island, just close for me. I'm just going to literally pop it in here into that tear duct area. The reason we pop it in here is because this area of the eye is usually always like looks wet anyway, so it's just very flattering. Open for me. I just like to blend that in a little bit. All right, now time for lips. I've actually got the MAC pencil and strip down, and I'm actually going to use the MAC lipstick in Honey Love. So the first thing I'm going to do is actually just do an outline of the lips. Just close for me. All right, so what I'm actually going to do is just colour in these edges. I might just overlap. I'm actually going to get a fluffy brush and just blur that a little bit, just so that there's no harsh lines. Actually gives a really soft appearance. And then we're going to go in with the colour Honey Love, just on a disposable lip wand. I just love these little ones, they're amazing, great to have in the kit. And then I'm just going to pop this more so just in the centre. For me, open for me. And then I'm pretty happy with that. And then I'm just going to go over and sort of like have a look at the makeup overall and see if there's anything that I really want to change. Bye.